Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to my podcast. I am so excited to go over this topic today. I am Gemini 211, and this is Gemini shit with a side of coffee. Y'all better have your coffee ready, hot, or iced for this episode. I am so excited to dive into this topic. It's a topic that I suffer from really bad, and it's a topic that so many of us face, but we don't always know how to name it. It's called anxiety. That feeling when your heart races, your mind spirals, or you feel completely stuck. We're going to explore the spiritual and scientific side, the fight or flight response, the freeze mode, where we get stuck, and how to tell what's real versus what's just fear whispering in our ear. So for me, there's been a lot of life changes that have caused the anxiety pressure to escalate in my life. And I feel like a lot of us could relate to like just being a mom, overloaded with work, and also like the spiritual part of this that a lot of us don't understand. I remember going through my spiritual awakening. I don't know, I think like 7 or 8 years ago, maybe even longer than that. But I went through like a deep spiritual awakening where I tapped in to my gifts on a deeper level and just like, got into tarot cards on a deeper level, got into channeling my spirit guides and my angel guides. And I remember going through a season where I was just like, I want to know everything. I want to know. I want to know. Because I was tired of making the same mistakes and repeating those same cycles. And I feel like a lot of this caused anxiety, right? Where we're just like, oh my God, how am I going to pay my bills? Oh my God, is this relationship going to work? Oh my God, after a breakup, how do I deal with this? Or maybe you just lost your job, maybe you just lost a loved one. And we kind of get into that mode of like, oh my gosh, now what? And I feel like for me, this is where my anxiety started creeping in was right after COVID, when we were in that like moment or time when everything was unknown and the world just stopped for a minute, and we were like, oh my God, are we going to have food? Oh my God, are we going to be okay? Oh my God. And all those, oh my God, what ifs, I feel like triggered an anxiety, and it triggered me to get deeper into my spirituality on like a whole different level. That's going to be for another episode when we go down the rabbit hole. But it allowed me to align myself in a way that I had let go of. It allowed me to align myself and, kind of make my world shaken up. And I feel like, shaken up, a world of being shooken up is fearful, and it's like we don't understand why the universe like shakes up our world. I kind of feel like this is like, a snow globe. Like I'm in this snow globe and everything's happy go lucky, and then all of a sudden somebody shakes it up and then all this like snow stuff starts, spinning around, and then it calms down. And I feel like this is what anxiety felt like for me. And I don't know if some of you guys could resonate with that, in all areas of life of just being anxious, And so I wanted to talk a little bit more about this topic just because it's something so close to me. And I know it's something that, a lot of you guys deal with. I remember going through that season of that shaken up season of life where I left my job and I went from one day to the next. I was at my job for 11 years and I got this calling that I needed to tap in and I needed to do my spiritual work and be there for those that needed guidance. And I feel like this was my shaken up world where during all of that, I was feeling so many different things at the time. I feel like there was like major work that was being done in the spiritual world for me to align with my higher self. And it brought me to realize that like the major part of who I am is basically a teacher for you all to help, put my experiences, my spirituality on the line for you guys to actually be able to heal, and for me to be that voice for those that are lost, because I was once that lost soul. And I remember, actually being in that moment where life just felt that shaken up, where it was like, holy shit, there's just life is happening. And I didn't understand it at the moment, but I understand it now because obviously it put me in alignment with my true authentic self. So let's break this down a little bit. Anxiety is basically our body's ancient alarm system. When our brain senses a threat, it flips the switch. It flips into that fight, flight, or freeze mode. The fight looks like tension, right? You're irritable, you're snappy, you're ready to just like go to war. The flight shows up as an avoidance, running from a conversation, distracting yourself, or just simply procrastinating. And the freeze is when we feel paralyzed, stuck, like we can't even move forward in one little small step. You're just stuck. And what's crazy is I stopped driving during COVID. I can't tell you why, but I stopped driving, and I still like don't drive. I will drive very local, but I don't drive. And I suffer from that freeze energy at a red light. Anytime I'm at a red light, I go into that like I'm paralyzed, I'm stuck, I can't even move forward, I can't even take my foot off of the brake to push the gas to go at a green light because I'm in that stuck mode. The problem is most of the time in our life, there really isn't that desire or that situation that is pushing us into that fight, flight, or freeze mode. It's our nervous system that is not regulated. Because I feel like this fight or flight mode is like if you're going for a walk and a dog starts to chase you, what do? You book it, right? You start running for your dear life, and you are running and you are not stopping. But in that running mode, you're not thinking about your bills. You're not thinking about what's cooking on the stove for dinner. You're not thinking about you have to go pick up your kid from school and go to the grocery store, because you are literally running for your life, right? So I feel like, fear overtakes and overpowers us, and we all kind of deal with anxiety in different ways. If a bill is unpaid, an unanswered text message, a tough relationship, or the fear of just not being enough is all part of anxiety and reasons that we create our own anxiety. Our body reacts to it as if it's a life or death, because we have to regulate our nervous system to realize, like, me driving, right, and getting stuck in that freeze mode at a red light, I'm constantly telling myself, there's not a dog chasing you. You're not about to get bit by a tiger. Like, there's nothing for you to freeze up and really cause that sensation to be frozen when you're stopped at a red light. And this is where, like, our body and our spirituality, our mind, our emotions have to be aligned. Our nervous system is really at the basis of everything that we do and everything that we experience. But yet, it's so crazy that when we go to a doctor, instantly they just want to put you on medication, right? And I feel like that medication is just a band-aid. And it's like, can you actually dive deep into the root cause of my nervous system and my health and like figure it out? Because I know nothing about it. And I feel like it's just easier for a doctor to just put that band-aid instead of diving deep into the root cause. Because a lot of us don't understand the nervous system and how it impacts our lives, how it impacts our relationships. I can't tell you how many times I have to reschedule tarot readings because my nervous system is not in alignment with myself, and that fight or flight mode starts to kick in for some odd reason. And I'm like, holy shit, again, here's this anxiety that I wish I knew more about, that I'm trying to regulate and I'm having a hard time regulating. Can you guys, understand, or does anybody else suffer from this? And as I dive deep into this and I went on this whole rabbit hole, like I start to realize that our past plays a huge impact in our anxiety and our styles of how we show up to relationships, our styles of how we are in relationships or how we perceive them. We have anxious girlies, we have avoidant girls, we have disorganized, and we have the secure girls. And it's so crazy to think that all of these emotions and all of this anxiety stems from our nervous system, a topic that, we never really talk about. But I feel like a lot of us live in that fight or flight energy, and we have that freeze where we just shut down. But I want to say if you are in a state of regulation all the time, where you're constantly like me trying to figure out how to regulate this anxiety, like how to make yourself figure out why you feel like this is where I resort to grounding, finding like that space to ground, getting under a tree with some sun, and also just being present and relaxing, trying to regulate that nervous system. I did see somebody on TikTok that talks about the nervous system a lot. And what I did recently start doing was I bought fresh chamomile, fresh bay leaves, and fresh mint. And instead of drinking coffee in the morning, I start off with my tea. And before I go to bed, I start off with my tea, trying to find holistic ways to calm that nervous system and also doing a lot of journal work. But at the same time, don't get me wrong, like we still need to make sure our nervous system works efficiently where it's not in that fight or flight mode all the time. Like there are situations when you have to get that like fight or flight mode, right? When like if you're walking and some random person comes up to you to like try to steal your purse or something, like we have to make sure our nervous system is regulated enough to where we understand like if that purse gets snatched right now, what am I going to do? Because if our nervous system isn't regulated, somebody like me, if I'm not regulated at that time, I'm probably going to freeze, where the old version of me, the unhealed version of me, would fight back. On a spiritual note with this, here's where spirituality steps in. Anxiety often tricks us into believing that the worst case scenarios are guaranteed. So when we are walking and we're getting chased by a dog, we instantly believe, right, the worst case scenario, I'm going to get attacked, I'm going to get bit, this is going to be like detrimental. But sometimes, and I speak for my own dog, she's so big and barks and is so loud and vocal and will probably chase you, but she thinks that you're playing with her. She thinks that you're running away from her. So like it's a game. But our brains are taught to think a dog instantly chasing you, run, because it's anxiety. But from an energetic perspective, fear is our greatest teacher. It shows us where our energy is leaking, where we've forgotten to trust. And again, this is part of healing. This is part of understanding. This is part of, understanding fear and anxiety and getting to the bottom line of what is the difference. The question then becomes, is this fear real, or is this just an illusion created by my past wounds, maybe even created by unhealed trauma, or just collective stress, which a lot of the times we create that collective stress with work life, family life, being a parent, relationships, having just a bad day. But like, this is an example that I could think of off the top of my head. But if you get a text from somebody you love that just says, we need to talk, your heart fucking drops, right? You're like, oh shit, what the fuck did I do? Oh shit, they want to break up. Oh shit, this is drama. This is, I don't know if I want to deal with this. And then your mind starts to jump into that. Are we breaking up? Or is this a rejection? It's an instant, like my heart goes into a loss, right? But the truth might be something simple. It might just be like hey, I've had a long day and I just want to connect with you. But anxiety paints the shadow larger than what it truly fucking is. And you want to know something crazy? Our brains will always choose what is familiar, like a shit situation that is familiar, over an unfamiliar, peaceful outcome. So, with that, if your relationship, like your marriage, your significant other, your dating, even just your workspace, if it has been toxic, right, you are already formulating that familiar hell because that's what we're used to. And then, how do we break out of that is really the question. It really just takes courage to jump out of that familiar hell and create or step in to a version of yourself into the unknown, putting trust into your faith, into your spirituality, into something different where you're just like, enough is enough and I'm ready to fix this in any way possible, and it's going to start with me. And then we step into that peaceful heaven place. So, our objective is when we are in that fight or flight, that breakup energy where you're just anxious, this is where we have to take a second and regulate our mindset, regulate our energy. I want to ask you, like, if you've gone through a breakup before, or, something detrimental is going on in your life, how do you find that you feel? Like, how do you feel like your body reacts to that? Do you shut down? Do you get depressed? And sometimes I feel like depression and anxiety go hand in hand, just because we start to shut down socialization. Because I feel like, when you're going through a breakup or something detrimental, we get to kind of experience our true personalities. And that's how we find who we truly become, because we start to heal through this. We start to learn through this. We start to never want to feel these feelings again. And we're getting to a point where we're like, I don't want to feel this, right? So with like anxiety, I don't want to feel this ever again. So our body starts to regulate to what is normal for you in those situations during the hardest times of our lives. The crazy thing is that sometimes when we don't have awareness of how to put us in a safe mental space, or a space that is peaceful, calming, because we go into that mode and then it's like, holy shit, I'm just stuck here. We start to sabotage relationships, moments. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had to leave a dinner because I got overstimulated and the anxiety kicked in of, I don't know what I was thinking about, but like I got into that, I got frozen, and it's like, I need to get the fuck out of here, right? And I sabotaged my night. I sabotaged a date. I sabotaged a good time because of that situation. And then you tend to go back to what's comfortable, whether it was toxic or not, right? So, like a, a relationship, if you are in a toxic relationship and you break up and you're going through it, you are just feeling like shit. Like, I can't be without this person. Oh my God, he was the best person ever. And oh my God, right? We find it easier to go back and deal with that and create that safety, because that was what all we knew at the moment, right? So we tend to create that safety and we start to sabotage even that. And I think what's really helped me create safety is always thinking about like the dog situation, right? Like, is this really enough? Like, is this dog really chasing me right now? And in those moments of anxiety, it's always like that certain point where my triggers start to get activated and I'm like, I'm safe here. I am okay here. And, I feel like this is like life for me. And I feel like for some of you, this is also life. And when people are around you make certain experiences feel, you know, like it's powerful. Those are the people that you want to be around, the people that help you regulate that mindset, that help you regulate that anxious feeling, the people who bring that peace to the room, opposed to constantly, the Debbie Downers, or like the one friend that you have that you're constantly like telling the tea to, and it's just like, well, you should leave him, girl. Well, oh my God, it's just anxiety. Get out. Let's go have a drink. And you're like, that's not where my mental space is, right? But you are the woman. You are the one in control of your feelings. You are the one in control of the fight or flight mindset, and you are in control of the decision and the actions that you make from that. And I know it's easier said than done, because I suffer from anxiety like on a whole different level, that this podcast, like, is just a glimpse of my reality. So, talking about energy in this, when you get to that point of like devastation and that anxiety mode starts to peak in, imagine the fear as a cloud and visualize the light, visualize spirit, or even visualize your higher self shining through that, right? Sometimes you could do a reality check, like look for evidence. Is there proof of XYZ? So, for example, for me driving at a red light, is there proof that I'm in harm's way? No, because I'm at a red light. Is there proof something bad's going to happen to me? No, because it's never happened. Is it just my mind running? It's questioning yourself. And then trying to ground yourself in the moment, put your hand over your chest, take a few deep breaths, ask yourself, am I safe right now in this moment? And here's the fun part. This is where spirituality steps in, because spirituality, like anxiety, is an invitation. It asks us, will you believe in the fear or will you believe in the faith, right? Instead of letting your nervous system keep you in that fight, flight, or freeze, you can add a fourth F, faith. Faith doesn't mean ignoring the reality. It means trusting that you can handle it. Tools that I love to use is obviously breath work, taking a few deep breaths. The box breathing is also super, really good. Prayer or intention, setting, to call your energy back. I fucking call my energy back every day before I go to bed, every morning when I wake up. Because I just feel like I'm constantly doing energy work with others. So I'm constantly spreading my energy everywhere, right? And sometimes movement, shaking your body. I know for me, going on a walk or getting out into nature in my peaks of the moment, I'm like, holy shit, I just need to ground myself. I can't tell you how many times I've touched a plant, or a tree just outside, put my feet in grass, and literally was on a peak of anxiety and was able to get myself regulated through grounding. And when we talk about relationships, like, analyze the relationships that are causing the anxiety, especially if it's like, a toxic relationship. If is somebody constantly telling you something and not following through with it, that is going to instantly cause your body to feel some type of way. Your emotions, it's playing with your heart chakra, and your emotions are all over the place. And imagine, this toxic relationship that is constantly repeating the same cycle of toxicity. You then lose confidence in that person, but then you also lose confidence in the relationship, whether it's a friendship or whether it's, a relationship. But these are signs that, link you to your own portal. And, I feel like people just relationships within ourselves, this is where we have to step up. This is where we have to sit and meditate. We have to, listen to our body, go to bed when we need to, pay attention to your feelings, stop wandering around in your mind of the what ifs, and be present into what is the reality. Because then you're pushing yourself to a mental breaking point, because you keep thinking, what if this, what if this, what if this? But if you stay present, everything is beneficial. The experience of being present is just evidence of what is real. and your confidence starts to build, once you treat yourself with the relationship of self-love and self-worth. And it is so important that you learn to go back into your relationships, and ask yourself, is this 100% of me? Am I giving 100% into this relationship or situation? Am I giving 100% of my mindset, my thoughts, my energy into anxiety? And I want you to take a minute and just kind of analyze, your forms of joy. What brings you joy and success? I know for me, it's creating a triple digit Gemini 211, like triple digit figure business on just healing people, being able to give my gift to those that need help and guidance. And this is a true success story for me that also gives me anxiety, because then it comes down to like, the business aspect of it, and keeping a business afloat in the state of California is fucking hard, right? But at the same time, it's me surrounding myself with people that are like-minded like me. I come in with super chronic anxiety and panic attacks, and I'm like, who the fuck am I? And you guys that follow me, listen to Gemini 211, and you're like, oh my God, she's fucking badass, without realizing the true mindset that I have to overcome in my own personal journey, and the friendships that I've lost even through this, because people didn't understand that like my panic attacks would come randomly, right? With just little things. And I'm like, oh shit, I can't do that. Oh shit, no, I can't do that. Like the panic attack is fucking real. And I want to be able to utilize this podcast, this episode right here, to get us into a better mindset, into a better version of ourselves, and learn to be safe. If you're feeling anxious today, I want you to remember this. Your body is doing its best to protect you, but you are more than your body. You are spirit, your energy, and your soul. You are safe in this moment. And the next time you feel fight, flight, or freeze, just like me, pause and ask yourself, what's real here? And what can I release back to spirit? Girl, let me tell you how much shit I am releasing a spirit. And anxiety, like stress. I am constantly like, universe, spirit, here you go. Take it back to wherever it belongs to, because it does not belong to me. But I wanted to thank you guys, for allowing me to share this space. And if this episode resonated with you, I want you to share it with a friend who might need it. And let's keep walking the path of healing together. I really want you to learn to, get to a better version of yourself, a version of yourself that I keep seeing like this snake, right? Like how it sheds its skin, like shed that shit. And I want to be in this journey with you guys. And I want you guys to be with me through my shedding journey of trying to shed this shit. And sometimes I think back, like, spiritual attacks are real too. But at the same time, I'm like, my faith is so fucking powerful that like, no, this is just me from my past, domestic violence, being in that fight or flight for so many years growing up. This is how my body reacts. And now that I'm older and getting to understand all these things, I just want to be able to share my experiences and my mindset and my transitions with you guys, because I know that it could resonate with a lot of you. And I believe that spirit brings us together for a reason. And through this healing process, go drink some coffee, spread the word. I want you to continue to have faith in yourself. And I am so grateful to be able to share this with you guys. And I'm so excited to see your transformation as well. So remember, stay grounded, stay guided, and remember, you are not anxiety. I am Gemini 211, you guys. I love you so much. Until next time.